How you doing, everyone? It is the Get Loud podcast presented by SeatGeek, the official ticketing partner of the Washington Commanders. That's Fred Smoot. I'm Michael Jenkins.
And hey, it's football
it's finally
season
here.
It's here right now. It's no more waiting for us, Jinx. We got something to get loud about. See, we've been getting loud over the summer, just trying to make some noise so people can come watch the show. Now we got something for them to actually get loud about, and it's just the newness of everything.
Yeah.
Like new ownership, new quarterback, new coaches, new team, like new roster. Like everything is new. If you a Washington fan and you ain't cheering right now, not just for football, for baseball. Did you see James Wood go yard? All right. If you're not feeling good about the young Wizards, like right now in Washington sports, the landscape, we got what, 3 number 2 picks?
Yeah,
all right. Come on, you got to be feeling good about the future of the franchises in Washington right now.
and we're going to talk with Dan Quinn coming up on this very podcast here in a few minutes, so make sure you stick around for that. Also, yes, we are listening to your voicemails on the house phone, 703-726-7419. You can always give us a call, let you know what you think, and you guys have been doing that, so we appreciate it.
I think I really want to ask Coach Quinn, if I got a chance to play in his defense, would I would have been a Hall of Famer?
Definitely.
Well, think about it. Everybody that play, all the corners that played in his defense, they borderline Hall of Famers. They get the ball back. Charles Woodson, Green Bay. Richard Sherman.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
There's some big names under that coaching
all
umbrella.
I'm saying is these guys, all I'm saying is you are a product of your coaching.
Oh,
I
no
tell
question
people
about
that
it.
all the time.
So I know you're going to talk with him about this, but I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Look, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Training camp has evolved over time.
Hated it, yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And so how have you seen it change? Because you've kind of seen both sides where it started one way, and it's not to take anything away from the players now, but it is different.
Well, first of all, when I first got to training camp, we was in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. For the people that's Washington fans, they know how old that was. Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and I never forget just coming to the training camp, and it was just, in Pennsylvania, it was like 105 hot. I couldn't believe it. And Bruce Smith, I'd never forget, he just turns around and say, training camp is about to crush your soul.
That's what he said.
Just crush your soul. And I'm like, what is he talking about? 48 hours later, soul is crushed. You understand me? Soul crushed so bad because I'm waking up at like 6 in the morning because we got to go weigh in and make sure we ain't lose too much weight the next day. This went 2 days with 2 days. Like we used to practice both of these practices. I'm talking about hard. So now you got to get up. You got to get your weight. You got to make sure you got to eat breakfast because they got to keep the weight on you.
Yeah.
You losing like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pounds a day, but you're trying to gain it back doing your sleep. It's organized chaos at its finest, and it's your body getting pushed to the limit. Not only are you practicing day after day after day, then they say, you know what? By the way, Saturday we're going to play the Dolphins.
Right.
So it's just nonstop. It was a test of wheels that you knew if a man made it out of training camp, we had respect for everybody around the league because we know they had been tested in a way. Now it's one hard practice in the morning, walk through in the day. I understand. They got one more game than we do. They trying to save these guys' leg. They got one less preseason games. But just like my granddaddy generation did with us when he looked me in the face as I had my headphones on, listening to a CD player, and he was like, hey, you soft? You know what? Our generation says the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's soft. I just think instead of working harder, we're leaning it towards working smarter. And that's what the new generation is about.
Were you ready? Were you ready for – you can prepare. People can tell you about it, but you never know until you know.
No, I was ready because I had just been built that way. And plus, I was one of the few players that love practice. So that's
right. I forget you loved it.
Love practice. So I'm giggling, laughing, and everybody looking at me like, this jerk. All right, what's wrong with you? One more day of football, dude? Have fun doing it. We play a kid's game. And I reinforced that all the time to myself. Do not get caught up in yourself thinking you are the No, you play a kid's game. Take your time and enjoy every step of it. So it never bothered me, but I seen players that they didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like they disdained training camp. I know for a fact, a lot of players retired because they just didn't want to do training camp no more. Yeah. Like if you would have told them no training camp, they would have played 3 more years. I know players that just flat out, you know what, I'm through. I cannot make it through that again.
So we tend to forget. I know you don't, but there are guys trying to make a team. There are guys fighting for their jobs here.
Their career, their dream.
Yes. Yes. So we'll focus on the guys we know are on the team, but man, that's one of the things I think that makes it so interesting is that there are guys who will rise up, guys who will fall back. There's some serious competition going
it's always going to be competition, and it's always going to be that one vet. Oh, I didn't see that coming. And cut him. Well, maybe because somebody undrafted stepped in and said, I'm ready to play now. All right, and I'm cheaper than him. So it's these battles inside of these battles. And some guys, I quite ain't aged into my position yet, and I just need a little bit more time. Thank God for the practice squad. All right, then you got guys that I'm ready to bubble. Now I just ain't had my chance. And some guys gonna get chances by things that you can't quantify. Injury here, an opening here, a trade here, and now somebody steps up. That's the one thing about football and all pro sports. They say, be ready always so you don't have to get ready. But when your number is called, you need to say I'm present for class. Like you need you will never get that chance again. Like for example, a guy like Antonio Pierce. We come in as rookies. He's undrafted. All right, nobody's sliding him to play within the next, if ever. Within 2 years, he's our starting linebacker. All right, within 2 more years, 3 more years, he's winning the Super Bowl at the Giants. That's how fast this career can take off or not take off.
So how often have you seen a guy, maybe midway through camp, they're struggling, light hasn't come on, but then they do, and then it's off to the races after that?
You see that all the time.
Yeah.
You usually see it in free agents. Because free agents move to another team. They got to learn the city. They got to learn the locker room. They got to learn the players. They got to learn the playbook. It takes them a second to like, all right, here go the best me. All right, so I've seen guys come out there the first 2 days like, who is that? He won't be on the team. To my God, he's finna hurt somebody. All right, like so it clicks for some guys, and especially if it's a new defense like we having, it's gonna take some guys a couple of days to figure out how he wants me to play this, where he wants me to play this. Because my last coach wanted me to take on this with my inside shoulder. Not this coach. He want me to beat that block. All right, so it's what am I being asked to do? How fast can I acclimate to my teammates, and how fast can I acclimate to the playbook?
Gonna be a lot of joint practices this year.
I love it.
And you were saying that helped you more than anything.
I'm sorry, like in a preseason game, it's the blithest play calling you will ever see. Cover 3 versus 4 verticals, cover 2. It's just so. We out here off of physical prowess. When we get into the practices with another team, these are mental battles against the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. They are sparring. Like while me and the wide receivers are sparring, they are mentally sparring, and that brings out the best in everybody. And like I can't catch on to the other team's wide receiver, to some of the quirks that he has. Like, if I'm practicing with Terry every day, I know Terry habits. All right, well, guess what? I don't know Tyreek Hill's habits. Like, I got a couple of days to figure this out. So it brings out the best in you, especially when you're talking about competing, especially when you're talking about challenging. But it actually brings out more for me for the coaching side of it. Now I can really get on the wavelength of my coaching, how he want me to do stuff and when he want me to do it.
Plus, isn't there something mental about – you always hear guys say, I'm tired of taking on my teammates. Like, doesn't something go off when it's an opponent?
That's what I would say. Like, if I'm checking Terry every day at practice, I know when he finna run a dig route. I done seen him drop that inside hand 55 million times.
Right.
So now he getting to the point where he dropping his inside hand to run out routes against me because he knows I know things about him. Well, the other guy, it's all even. You gotta play within the defense, and you gotta play with that sideline, and you gotta know who you checking. All right, that go the thing. Personnel wise, who am I up against? And I think that's why coaches love these practices with other teams, because mentally you're gonna get tested. Physically, they know what you got. Mentally, you will be tested.
Let's talk about some of the guys on. Let's start with the offense that you're really looking forward to watching. It can be Jaden Daniels. It can be someone else. Like, who do you really want to hone in on?
You know what? I'm not going to get one of these guys that, we got these new toys for Christmas. I'm not going to play with my I'm not going to play with my G.I. Joe no more. I'm not going to play with this wrestling man that don't even move his arms no more. No, I'm going to appreciate my old toys. I think it's going to be a big year for B-Rob. Nobody's talking about B-Rob. I know, because we got Eckler. But they going to be a team, all right? And I think, as much as Eckler say, you know what, I'm going to really benefit from not having to tote the load. I think B-Rob is going to benefit from that too. I think B-Rob is going to be one of those guys that really say, you know what, I want to cement myself as one of the top 10 backs in this league because I have that type of ability. I see B-Rob doing it. I can see Ben Sinnott, a guy just coming out of nowhere.
Yep.
You know how Cooley did? Well, people didn't expect too much from Cooley.
Where'd he go, to Utah State?
Yes, we just signed an H-back out of Utah State. Before you know it, Cooley was a household name. Ben Sinnott has that ability to be that I don't do nothing great, but I do everything good type of offensive player. And don't forget about Terry. I've been watching Terry run up and down this field by himself for weeks. Haven't left here, ain't went nowhere. I think he's out to prove, and I'm so happy for him because the only thing that a lot of these wide receivers has had over him for his first 4 or 5 years in his career is they've had a quarterback.
A good quarterback.
All right. I'm so happy his relationship with his new quarterback is about to start. It just, and that's why I didn't play wide receiver, Jinx.
You don't want to rely on anybody else.
It's too dependable. Like, I got to depend on my quarterback, 1, to throw me the ball, 2, to throw it to me in a place where I could catch it. Then I need my offensive line to block for him, to give him the chance to throw me the ball. And then I have to also complete the catch. That's the 5 levels of dependability. As a corner, I'm dependent on 1, my rush.
Yep.
All right. 2, me. All right. There it go. Me. Like, there it go. I'm the prisoner to my rush. But then it's all on me, and there go the things that I like. But I think those guys can make some plays on the offense and on defense. Man, Frankie Lou, I can't.
I'm so excited.
It's just, I think we all got a man crush on him. I think all of us want our last name to be Louvu. It's just such a good last name. But I think he's going to be one of those guys jump out. Like I say, I like to play with my old toys. Jamin Davis. I call this the comeback kids. Jamin Davis.
This is the year he needs to do it.
No, it's 2 of them.
Okay.
Comeback kids are, they're going to come back like Milli Vanilli did. Show y'all that they was not lip singing. All right?
It wasn't great.
It was. All right. Jamin Davis.
Okay.
Emmanuel Forbes.
Your guy. All right.
I think this wit defense fits them to the T. And finally we get to see Jamin in a pass rush mode. I think that's going to send him to double-digit sacks. We're going to see Forbes for the first time be coached well. Like, everybody say, well, he stunk. No, he didn't. Bad parents make bad kids. All right? He wasn't coached well last year. Watch what happens in this defense. So those 2 guys on defense.
And in general, whether it's offense, defense, and not specific to Emmanuel Forbes, but you see this a lot, right?
Yeah.
Where sometimes it just takes a while for guys to develop.
Everybody's not microwave ready.
Right.
When they get to the NFL.
Not everyone is CJ Stroud.
No. Everybody don't push the, okay, I'm here, I'm ready to go, bud. But people so used to seeing that that they like, he went first round. I can't believe. It was a time when I played where first rounders rode the bench. Do they understand that?
Yeah.
Where they would draft a quarterback and not start him for 2-3 years. Like, it's a league of development. And if my coach don't give me a head start in development, my development will be slow. I'm a prisoner to my head coach and my position coach. That's all I be saying. When guys don't start off, don't be shocked that they didn't start off as. Everybody can't be Fred Smoot and be a day 1 starter. They can't be ready.
They can't do it.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes a splash play, a highlight, will kind of save a guy, because you hear this all the time. A guy will flash, right?
Yeah.
Where maybe he's not consistent, but then he'll do something. You're like, man, that's untapped potential right there.
They're just sexy right there, what he just did on that field. But he just messed up 3 plays in a row.
Right.
And this is what they call upside. Right? When they say a player has upside, he's not there yet, but he has upside. That means he's flashed. That means he's got around the tackle a couple of times and got a sack. When he couldn't get around the tackle, he jumped up and knocked the ball down. He's Johnny on the spot. Somebody else tipped the ball. He caught it. Like, this guy seems to find the ball, but he ain't there yet. And there go the thing about it. It takes a good coaching eyes, and that's what I want to ask Coach Quinn later. Like, how do you decipher when a guy is there and when he's not there yet? And when do you take the chance to say he ain't got everything going, but I want to put him in and put him in the fire right now? We're going to have a couple guys do that. We're going to have a couple guys start out slow. We're going to have a couple guys start out fast. It might not make this team. And the guy that just constantly got better, day in and day out, he would solidify a spot, because this is what I was always told by a coach. I'm going to judge y'all fairly.
Okay.
But here go the truth, guys. I'm only going to keep the guys that keep me hired.
Fair.
I was like, that's the fairest thing I ever heard in my life. That's the realest coaching thing I've ever heard in my life. Because guess what? Players get coaches fired. Coaches get players fired. All right? Why? I was always asking Coach, why you ain't put what's the name in? He don't trust him. He don't trust him to keep him hired. Like,
and I'm trying to win football games.
I'm trying. Not only am I trying to win football games, I'm trying to feed my kids.
Yeah.
All right. So if I'm a coach, I'm only gonna put players in that I trust to keep me hired. Oh, that's a tough task. That's a tough task.
Before we get to the head coach, can't wait to talk to Dan Quinn coming up here in just a few minutes. ESPN released a list of the top 100 athletes since 2000, and there were some football players on there. Tom Brady was 5. Patrick Mahomes was 18. Aaron Donald was 20. Peyton Manning, 26. Randy Moss, 27. A lot of great athletes on this list. Michael Phelps, number 1 overall.
Michael the Fish Phelps, all right? Come on, DMV native.
Yeah.
All right. I got to ask you this.
Okay.
No bias. Swimming ain't the most popular sport. It's not.
Correct.
Even though he dominated. With guys on this list like Tom, Tiger, LeBron, Steph, Serena.
I know.
Is the Fish Phelps?
He's
Is the Fish Phelps?
At the Olympic level and the work it takes to be a top end and to do it for as many times as he's done it.
But I have to, I got to
No.
play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I like to judge athletes when not only they are the apex predator, but when it's another apex predator with them. With Tiger, you know who's going to be right beside him. All right, with LeBron, Steph constantly throwing in his hip. Who with Phelps? It's just him alone.
But that's the thing. Don't you think it's just because we don't follow Olympic swimming? Like, if we were really into swimming, wouldn't we probably say, oh, you got to watch out for this guy. This guy's always right there.
I just don't feel like The Dark Knight is a great movie without the Joker.
I mean, that's true.
I think it has to be a hero and a villain. That's how Larry Bird and Magic Johnson say the NBA. It's like the WNBA, we watching it right now with Caitlin. We're watching it. Somebody has to be the villain. Somebody has to be. But with Micah Phelps, it was just him.
Maybe he's that much better than everybody else.
Maybe.
Katie Ledecky's been doing the same thing.
No, but I'm saying, but maybe. But to put him the best in the 2000s, athlete of all time, when I can say, where's your adversary? Like, where's your roadblock?
Yeah.
Like, was you just dead better than everybody?
Look at Serena. Who was her number 1 competition?
Well, first of all, it started off her sister.
It was, and then she just took off.
But also, it was so many people. Right? And she had to beat them to get there. Like, if we bring up Phelps' resume, where's the notches on the belt? He took out this person. Oh, this person was great before Phelps took him out. Like,
wasn't there, when he won, what was it, the 7 gold, and his last stroke, he won by 100th of a second?
Yes. Nobody knows the other guy's name.
It's like he just won.
We don't know who Jeff Wilson is. That's what I'm saying. Like, for your story to be good, let me put it in, let me temper this down for our fan base. If we had to watch a movie today of Phelps, would you watch the Michael the Fish Phelps movie?
Okay.
Would you watch the Serena Williams movie?
Okay.
Would you watch the Lionel Messi movie? The LeBron James? Or the Tom Brady movie?
But see, don't we know everything about Tom Brady?
But guess what?
Everything.
But his movie is going to be so good because he got peaks and valleys.
Lily Tomlin?
No, he went to Michigan as a standout. Drew was the quarterback that got drafted in baseball. He was second fiddle at Michigan. Then to get drafted late in the first round and not be the guy. Like, I think his movie had more drama than
his movie,
Phelps.
yes. But it would be, I was thinking like a documentary. I would be like, well, I want to know more about what did I miss with Leo Messi and how he became where he is.
Messi.
Like yes.
Thank you. So the Messi movie, better than Phelps. All right? Yes, it is.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
All right, the Tom Brady movie, better than Phelps.
I don't know. I think it's just Tom Brady fatigue. Like I know everybody knows
Tom. You got fatigue, but guess what? You only got fatigue because he's been so great for so long.
That's
in a contact sport. The LeBron James move. Like it's no competition there.
Right.
Serena Williams move.
Serena would be. Well, she has a thing out right now, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like out of these five, the top five, Phelps would be the fifth best movie.
I just like Usain Bolt would be interesting to me. It's like because for 4 years we just like these guys fall out of our consciousness, right?
Yes,
and then all of a sudden,
pop back.
right? There's like Katie Ledecky, Simone Biles, like all great.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about you in about 3 years. Nothing personal, but that's how generally
that's
Olympics.
Your sport.
Yeah.
Like Simone Biles is just
Incredible.
Unbelievable. But she ain't served every day in the lunchroom.
Right.
Like, I got the option for Jell-O every time, and that's
right.
Tom Brady.
Right.
That Jell-O is always there. I know how it tastes. I know the flavor. The consistency is there. But like you said, like when you got a pop-up sport, that's what I call Olympics. Mm-hmm. Pop-up sports. When you have a pop-up sport, you're hot then.
Right. Like, were you paying attention to the U.S. Gymnastics Championships in Indianapolis? Probably not.
I was not.
Okay.
Neither were you.
Well, I would read about them like Simone's dominating. She's going to make the team. We all knew. Like, we're gearing up. But I would not have paid attention to that a year ago.
Yeah, thank you. So, how can I put these people... If I'm voting...
Okay.
I got to vote, how much do you play? All right?
Right.
I don't think I could put a player... that plays or competes every 4 years.
But they
every 2
are
years.
competing. They're just not competing they're competing in world championships every year.
We know
United States championships. It's just we don't follow it.
That's what I'm saying.
We don't follow, but it's there.
So how could I give Phelps he went to 3 Olympics or 4?
I want to say 4. Am I wrong? I could be wrong.
Yeah, it could be
you
wrong.
Guys can call me out
3
in the
or
comments.
4.
Yeah.
All right. When I just seen Tom do it week in and week out for 20 years.
Is he too low at 5?
He's too low. Like, he's but I don't know who to move.
No, I know.
Like,
they're all great.
It's to the point where with Federer at 6, come on. Federer been around so long. Mm-hmm. Listen, then you got Simone Biles, and we ain't even got to this dude. Tiger Woods.
Oh, I think he's too low at 8.
He's too low at 8, but you don't know who to move.
I know.
Who do you move? Like, I ain't gonna lie. I might, and I know this is I'm finna ruffle some feathers here. I might replace Michael Phelps with Tiger Woods at 1 because
you're not wrong.
Tiger changed golf.
Changed the game, no question.
He's the face of modern golf. All right? Everything the Bear was, Tiger was on a different level.
Yes.
Like, he made a is he the reason we got top golfs around here? He made a sport fun that was made for 70-year-old men.
Yes.
He made it mainstream.
Let's look back at Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus going. Right.
Like you say golf, you say Tiger.
Yes.
Like he is golf. Like how many of these people epitomizes their sport? Now Phelps epitomizes swimming.
Yeah.
But Ledecky is coming.
Oh, she's already.
I'm a big DeChambeau fan. I call myself Smoot DeChambeau while I'm golfing.
I bet you do.
But he ain't Tiger.
No.
Like as much as I love Tom, when you say football, there's other people that give it's our own identity. Mm-hmm. But when I say golf, it's only one person that comes to mind, and that's Tiger. Even though Messi, I love Messi, but Ronaldo
and soccer goes back. Yeah.
Like Pepe, I can go so far.
Pele,
I can go so far. But I just don't know.
It's tough.
And then you got Usain Bolt right behind Tiger. I'm not that high on putting track and field people that high over players that do it week in and week out. Like, as much as I love Usain Bolt, fastest man in the world, I can't take nothing away from Steph Curry being the best shooter of all time.
Hey, that's why you could make a case, and I didn't want to make people upset in the comments. You could make a case to put him over Kobe because he changed the complexion of the sport.
Most definitely, and I'm a Kobe guy.
Right.
I'm a Kobe guy, but Kobe was a Michael Jordan clone.
He was.
Let's be honest.
Exactly.
We ain't seen but one Steph Curry. Steph Curry made everybody 6 feet and under believe they can play sports.
Correct.
I go into the Lifetime Right Now Fitness, And it's people out there hollering, Steph, pull it from the timeline. Because guess what? Everybody can't be LeBron James because everybody ain't 6'8". But everybody can shoot the ball like Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Redefine the sport.
Let's pay some bills. Oh, I think you get to read here. Then we're going to get to the head coach, Dan Quinn.
Oh, do I?
All right.
Hey, the Get Loud podcast is brought to you by Bet365, the official sporting bet partner of your Washington Commanders. Bet on a range of NFL markets with the Bet365 app. Craft your own personalized bet slip with parlay. Access thousands of games with live streaming. Place your bet before the match or during the game. It's up to you. Download the Bet365 app today and join 80 million members worldwide. Age 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Virginia. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. NWAA. We don't travel to escape life. We travel so life don't escape us. We dream of any place in the world in the blink of an eye. We're there. That's the wonder of flight. All you have to do is decide is where to. Dulles International Airport. Let your imagination soar. Book your adventure today at flydulles.com/nonstop. Top that, Anna. Top that.
Anna's had a nice run.
She did. You know, and I seen the people leave their stuff in me. Like Anna is taking off. Yeah, we want to thank Colorado for the great education that they gave with their Buffalo education. But Mississippi State reigns supreme. The class of the SEC. You know what I'm talking about? Ivy League.
We got the two greats on this show, Anna, and now the head coach. Let's bring him in.
You know it. Let's do it.
We've been waiting for this.
Yes, most
finally,
definitely.
training camp is here. We got the head coach with us, Dan.
The old ball coach.
The old ball coach is here.
Yeah.
Oh, man, so many questions that we want to ask. And I think the one thing that I wanted to ask you is, how much do you enjoy the challenge of building a winner? Because there's obviously off-season work in the draft, and here you are on the cusp of getting this build underway.
Yeah, it's absolutely what you want to think of, and there's so many things that's so far down the road that you can't think that far. You know, like you got to work back from there and hit all the steps along the way. But there's an energy that gets created from that inside the building, outside the building, the play style. So it's as fun as you could possibly imagine. When you get a whole group, moving in the right direction together, it's a powerful force. And I'm very much looking forward to doing that.
Most definitely, Coach. And me, myself, we all come back to training camp, and everybody, you expect for everybody to be in shape. The physical part, you expect for them to be there. When it comes to the mental part, especially as a first-year coach, you're trying to install your offense, you're trying to install your defense. How much goes into the mental preparation when it comes for you, your coaching staff, and also your players?
Yeah, I think that's probably as big as anything, because you're right. The people are going to be in shape. And what's exciting, if you walk around here right now, I've seen more people here getting ready for a camp than I remember in recent years.
Not going home. They own the field.
Yeah, and they're not dragging into it or, oh, man, we got a camp start. Like there's an excitement and an energy, man, like I can't wait to go and want to prove it. Part of that is creating an identity, standards that you want. And so we've got a lot of players and coaches that have won the last game of the season. And their leadership is going to be vital to that, because they'll know what that can look like to have championship standards on and off. And so a lot of those standards are from the neck up. You know, how we do things, the intensity, the detail that goes into something. And so we're going to push ourselves to really high standards, the way we practice, the way we compete. And if we do that right over and over and over, there'll be a lot of good that comes out of that.
I've been seeing in OTAs, I see y'all building guys up. Like that's what I see. And if the fans are going to see during training camp, when you come on this facility, the building is getting built on. The fields are being built. The stadium is being built. The coaching staff is being built. It's building up the thing that we're trying to do right now. If I had to say one word, is building everything up is what we're trying to do.
I like that, because in everything that we're going to do, like all of us here aren't, that we're coming into this building, we're not paid to play or to coach. We're paid to win.
Yes.
And coach to win. And so winning standards, they're hard. It's difficult, and you got to do it over and over and over. And that's the competition to push each other, to take yourself to heights that you wouldn't have been able to do, on your own. So like, there's a lot that happens in these next 6 weeks, and it's a fun time because you do get to prove it. You do get to test, and like, you can also work really hard and have a really good time. Like, those two things can be synonymous.
Oh, they go together. It's a symmetry there.
Yes, you do not have to be this, head down. I'm not talking to anybody. It's just the opposite, man. There's energy that can come from getting other people better, by doing that, you yourself get better.
Yep, because you become a football family.
Yes.
Like I talked to Gary Clark, I talked to Art Monk, and I remember sitting down in the lunchroom with them. And I asked them a question. I've been a part of a lot of good football teams. We never did what y'all did. What made y'all different? He was like, we wasn't no football team, dude. We was a football family.
Yeah, right.
And I think that really stuck with me because you watch out for your brother more than you do for the person you just work with.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think rare competitors are way closer than people would ever think.
Yeah, most definitely.
Closer than your own family in a lot of instances.
No, because actually we understand each other more than our family actually does.
Yeah, we are unbalanced a little bit, and I think that's okay.
No, this organized chaos is what I call it.
But along those same lines, you've always been known as a player's coach, but you hear that a lot. But you actually make a very concerted effort to connect with guys during the offseason before camp. So when you get to the mental grind of these practices, how much does that help? Because you already have that bond like, hey, we're in this together.
Yeah, and the most important one, I get to facilitate the player-to-player connection.
Oh, yeah.
That's the number one top of the pile, like where Fred can say years, man, I used to play with this guy. I played I covered, whatever it might have been, like there's this connection that will last forever,
a lifetime,
and those kind of connections are really strong, and so that's why seeing a team get together this quickly gave me a lot of hope and encouragement, knowing that they were together for X amount of time, when the rookies got here as well. And so to see one of the coaches who had come as an intern said, I would have thought you guys would have been together 2 or 3 years, the way I saw people interact. That made me know, okay, we're hitting some markers.
Yep, and that's all about connectivity, right?
Yes.
Like it's about making sure everybody's on the same page and it's one plan, one heartbeat, one sound. How do you get that message across, Coach? Because I've played with different coaches. Coach Gibbs got his messages across a different way. Coach Schottenheimer, he got his messages across. How do you say, you know what, I can take the heartbeat of this team, and this is how I should go about trying to get this done?
Yeah, I think it's finding what everybody's best can look like.
Yeah.
So that's what some of the individual ones. So how many guys on our team can have the best season they've ever had this year?
Yeah.
Collectively. And if the more we do that and know each other better, I can watch on things. Hey, I'm going to watch Fred on his back pedal. I'm like, that's something he's working on. I'm going to look at him. So how do we collectively do that and improve? And if you're really pushing it for one another, it's as fun as it is, because now collectively people just start improving and getting better and battling for it, and they understand each other better. But I think getting back to the first part about relationships, you have to, crush any of the space in the gap to know where somebody's coming from. They might have had experience with a coach one time that wasn't good, and
don't trust him anymore.
Yeah. And so like we all come from different places. If I grew up in New Jersey,
Mississippi,
Texas.
So I can't know what that is like. If I had that same experience, it'd be easier for me to get there. So just listening to what it might be, some perspective, just listening and not always thinking your way is the only way.
Yeah.
Like, no, what we did up in Jersey was this. And,
there's plenty of ways to get the same job done.
You got that right.
Definition.
When you strip everything away, at the heart, you're a football coach, right?
Yes.
So when you talk about rookies or veterans, is there a player or a group where you say, I just can't wait to coach this guy or this group?
Oh, man, a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And
they all knew, right?
So I'd say that's fun because, like when you're a position coach, that's your focus and that's where you're at, your DB coach. When you're a coordinator, you're that side. So as the head coach, you get to be a part of everything. And so I guess as much as I am excited for the players, I'm as excited to see the identity take shape.
Yeah.
And that's not done in one day. And it's going to be built over time, and you're going to see that get established. And now it gets our pattern of how we do things and how we play and the intensity and the speed. And then you will see that on a regular basis, and that becomes who we are. And then we don't have to take it up or down. This is just how we get it on.
Consistently, that's how we do things.
This is just how we roll.
That's how we roll. And just speaking of that, everybody like to bring it up, especially preseason. I done got this question so many times. Do you care if y'all win in preseason? Yes, we care, because I think winning is a habit.
Yeah.
Now, is it to die for? No, but we want to come out. And I've always been asked this question: do I get more from the private practices with another team, or do I get more from a preseason game? Personally, me as a player, I got more from suiting up against the Ravens 3 days. It might be a couple fights. Come on, it's
you
football.
guys will go at it too.
We're gonna trade a little spit. It happens. But at the end of the day, I got more done because I felt like it was a bigger test, and coaches were trying to hide less in the public in the practices than they did in the preseason game.
I think you're right that what preseason is one term that maybe we can discuss, is like one size doesn't fit all.
Yeah.
So what this player may need is different from what the young player need. We need more reps for this player to see what they can do. It's a young player. We need maybe 5 or 6 quarters of football to say he's ready to go into a game. For a guy who's played a lot of football, some of the practices are as important because now your skills are really sharp against somebody else. I also like it if they're different schemes than what you do.
Yes.
And so, okay, we haven't seen this front. This is a different style. This is a different thing. Because when you're playing against your own team over and over, the competition is excellent. The skill work is good. But oftentimes schemes are different and attacking you in different ways. And that's what can also help in this.
But we also creatures of habit. And I can learn your habits. If I practice against Terry every day,
yes,
I know Terry's habits.
Yes.
So where he would beat somebody else from another team, he wouldn't beat me. And that's what I like. I like to be uncomfortable in practice. And the only way I can be uncomfortable is not knowing everything about the guy across from me. Now, I got to ask you this because we lost the preseason game, so now it's only 3. And you got guys at the bottom of this roster from when the time I was in the league. Guys made rosters that last preseason game.
Yes.
How hard is it to really give these guys a true shot, knowing you got to ration these reps the way you have to?
The way I look at it is there's against another opponent, there's 5 guaranteed competitive arenas that we're going to be in, twice against the Jets, twice against Miami, once against New England. That counts as 5 against someone else. And then all the other practices that are here, some open to the public, and those are performances too.
Yeah.
To say our process of getting ready and going to do it. So those evaluations matter, but think of the practices and the games, combine those.
It's one. It's one season. It's first season.
And so more reps, more time. So by trading one of the games and adding practices to it, I think we're still getting the opponent work.
Still getting the work done.
Whenever you're a big name rookie or a big name veteran that signs, of course you come with these huge expectations. So as a coach, you see these guys all the time. You're not just looking at some practice clips or whatever. How do you push that aside? What do you look for personally when you talk about the development of a player?
Yeah, I think if the topic would be winning football.
Okay.
Not to say he had this many tackles or this many catches. They use that in the NBA some to say how many double teams did he create?
Yes.
That didn't mean he scored every play.
But he changed the whole game.
Yes. And so winning football can be veiled in a lot of ways. And it's the discipline, it's the technique. It's, I might have been from my man-to-man 17 snaps, and they only went to him 3 times. But those other ones that looked, he was guarding them.
Yeah.
They were covered. It wasn't an interception. It wasn't that. But I saw winning football.
Yeah.
And so the comparison game can be easy, and that happens where it goes this player to this player, and certainly with rookies, and especially with quarterbacks, where you're selected, all of those things. But winning football can be seen in a lot of different ways, and that's ultimately what we're looking for. Do they have the poise? Is there any penalties? Those are things that may go unspoken, but they're not unseen.
And Coach, I totally get that one. Now, I got to give you this. I was more impressed. I know the success you had with the Falcons. I was just more impressed with the Seattle Seahawks because I'm one of them guys. I'm a football story. Richard Sherman was not everybody picked coming out, all right? Cam Chancellor was not very highly picked. You got Brandon Browner, who I thought you was rebuilding over there. How do you zero in on the talent and say, you know what? It might not be everybody's cup of tea.
Right.
But I can get high-end performances out of these guys. How do you identify these guys? 2, how do you nurture?
I think you want to find what does somebody do best.
Yeah.
And you start to build around that. And then you can start to build some system around that. And so, for instance, for you, if you were excellent playing man-to-man, that is where we're going to feature. And so how do we feature you doing that over and over again? And then more people who can do those things. So it may have seemed like chaos sometimes at Seattle, but it was very disciplined in how we did things and very structured and very tough. And so we had really high standards for the guy. But we also had another safety named Earl Thomas, who was fantastic coming out of the middle of the field. He was fantastic. So some of them were the very best in the world at what they did. If we had asked them to flip-flop and Cam, you be deep, Earl always be down.
And it wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have worked in the same way. If Richard had been an off corner for his entire career, he wouldn't have had the same impact. He was so long and so strong at the line of scrimmage that the receiver had to work to release so often. Hey, I need to be off the line to get him on the move because he had these long arms and would make people really have to go wide and around him. So when you put people in the spots and find the things that they do remarkably well, you feature those things. That could have been, like basketball, that'd be this 3-point shooter who can do it over and over again. Yep. We're not, if he struggles playing some defense, okay, we live with that, knowing the things that he can do.
Great role for him.
Yes, and so you have to dig and you have to experiment. And times like this at training camp are important because who can play man-to-man? Yeah. Over, lots of reps, lots of times. Okay, what about blitzing? What about zone? What does Luvu have? What does this person have? Yeah. Especially if they're new, we got to find out. Yeah. And there's Chin, there's, Quan. What's he look like as a blitzer? How about him coming out of the middle of the field? So all of these evaluations are taking place every day. So every practice is a performance.
That's a good problem to have with all those names, dropping those names. Like, I got to figure out where all these guys, where I'm going to put these guys.
And that's important.
Coach, you can see it. I know. No, nobody ain't going to see it, but I'm going to see it. Training camp is soft compared to when I came into the game.
It's way different.
Like, do you ever get to the point, like, I remember we used to do 3-a-days and 2-a-days, and now I can only really work these guys once a day, and now we got to walk through? Come on, Coach.
It's way different, dude. And so maybe you've been playing a little longer.
I could have maybe last a couple more years.
But it is different. Yeah. And the guys today, what does that mean? Like they think this is the hardest thing that's ever been.
Because this is all they know, though.
Correct.
But like I told them, we did my training camp in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. This is the original place we did it. And I remember my first 2 days out there with Bruce Smith and Darryl Green. And I'm like, maybe I chose the wrong profession. I should have been a lawyer or something. Yeah. This right here is
hard.
Make
me thinking about it.
But how do you as a coach say, you know what? Yes, I got to temper it down. Do now, since I can't really lean on them more physically, do I have to build them up more mentally?
I think I want to make sure the competition at practice is always on point to make sure every time we're working on that. Because if you get stronger even at that, over and over and over again, like there isn't a space to take a play off. That's not how it goes. And so you have to make sure they all count. And you have to work skills and pre-practices, post-practices, because there's a lot of people to get ready. And how do we do that? Just as many reps as we can in that time and working the skills hard.
He's the head coach of the Washington Commanders. Hey, we know you're a very busy man. We appreciate the time and have a great season.
All right, man. Good to be on with you guys today, and let's get this thing rocking.
Yeah. Hey, also, you
would be a good lawyer, by the way.
Yes, I would be a good lawyer. I would handle rebuttals very well.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, awesome, Coach. Man.
Before we get to our final segment, I got to tell you guys about SeatGeek. Come on.
Yeah.
The breaking news you fans want to hear. SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of your Washington Commanders. The deal is finalized. SeatGeek is the newest member of the Commanders family. Get used to the name. You'll be hearing it all season long. Doesn't matter if you're buying or selling tickets to Commanders games or any other live event in the DMV. SeatGeek is the place to do it. The new official ticketing partner of the Washington Commanders, so Commanders fans can fan. We're bringing in Anna. We talked about Anna, of course, about popular demand. People want to hear from her. But when we were talking about the ESPN Top 100 list, do you know who had a huge issue with this?
Yeah.
The Nature Boy.
Yes.
I can't even read this tweet. Woo! He was so angry that he was not on this list. 16 world titles, actually 22. 1,200-hour matches, 15 years without a day off, a cultural icon, worldwide sensation. Good Lord. So many people have lost sight of what greatness truly is. I never pulled out with a calf muscle strain. Does the Nature Boy have a beef?
Jet flyer. Listen. First of all, we'll never hate on the Nature Boy on this show. Not on this show and no show that Fred Smoot got anything to do with. All right, you helped me get through those tender teenage days and them young days where I was in there thinking that wrestling was real. I remember my dad sat me down and say, son, let me tell you something. Have you ever seen a deer with 9 feet? He said, I like, no. He was like, well, you ain't seen no real wrestler. All right, so at the end of the day, once my hopes was crushed,
okay,
and Jimmy Superfly Snooker and all the rest of these guys were not who I thought they were. Finding out your favorite athletes are imposters. Imagine that. Imagine like somebody came to you and said, I know you look up to Tom Brady, but a script was wrote.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine?
Did y'all lift those weights? Yes. Did y'all body take a pounding night in and night out on the road?
No doubt.
Yes. But when we go out and play football and basketball and baseball, it's the best man wins.
Yes.
In the best man win, meaning ain't no predetermined script. I don't know I'm finna win the championship before the fight start. WrestleMania 1, you lied to me, Ric Flair. WrestleMania 2, you lied to me again because you knew before the fight who was going to win that fight. Yes, you are athlete. No, you don't deserve to be in the top 100. First of all, if it was a wrestler in the top 100, would it be the Nature Boy?
Yes.
No!
If there was, you wouldn't be a Greco-Roman wrestler.
No, if you had to pick one wrestler through wrestling history.
Oh, of all time?
To put in the top 100 athletes. One wrestler.
Just athletically?
Athletically, whoever. I'm talking about that British Bulldog, the Ultimate Warrior, whoever. Andre the Giant.
Oh, the Giant, yeah.
I'm going with the Giant.
That's fair.
Simple as that. Because he had something you cannot buy. He's the biggest human being you have ever seen in your life. So I'm just saying, it ain't that we don't respect wrestling or we don't respect your athletics. I think these on here are competitive athletics.
Yeah, you can't compare the two.
You're a salesman.
You can't.
You're a salesman.
Right. You have amazing athleticism. You're a world-class athlete, but you can't compare the two things.
But you're selling me an invisible shoe. Have you ever wore one of those? No. It's called being barefooted. All right, the same thing.
Now, here she is. We have a new game.
Yeah.
Anna comes up with games each week for us. This one is called Commander Conundrum.
Commander Conundrum. Cue up the theme music.
Oh, let's go.
Whoop dude, whoop dude, whoop dude.
It's getting put in place, so that's why we don't have it now. Okay. So
you got to do that again. Whoop doo, doo.
That's that game show.
Yeah. So we're gonna have. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this because I just thought of it in my head. Yeah. But basically, I'm going to name you a list of 8 players.
All right.
Okay.
And it's gonna be confusing, but 5 of these 8 players fell in the top 8 of this category. Okay. So you're going to have to weed out
who is not a part of
the 3 that aren't there.
Yep. Who are the 3 that aren't like the others?
No,
all
right.
right.
I got you. Yeah, let's go.
So, Washington Commanders career passing leaders who fall in the top 8.
Joe Theismann, number 1.
We have Joe Theismann.
Joey T.
Number 1.
RG3.
No.
Gus.
Farad.
Thank you. I was not alive then.
Yeah.
Okay. Jason Campbell. Sammy Baugh.
Number 2.
Norm Snead. Kirk Cousins.
Kirk is number 4, right?
Doug Williams.
Oh, Doug.
Who does not belong?
Doug is not in the top passing.
Because Doug didn't play long enough.
He didn't play long enough. All right.
All right. That's one correct.
Number 1 is Joe Theismann. Number 2 is Slinger Sammy Baugh. Kirk Cousins is either number 3 or number 4. All right, so that means
I bet Jason Campbell's up there.
Jason is probably sitting at 7,000 yards. All right, so the 2 that's out are Doug. Gus Farad started for how many years? Doug and Gus Farad.
There's got to be one more.
Doug, Gus Farad, and Snead.
Snead?
Yeah.
All right, you got 2 of them right, Fred. You guys get one more chance.
Is it RG3? Because he didn't play that long. He was a flash.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like, we think of him, but he didn't play that long.
Yeah, you're right. Let's go. Bobby 3 Sticks for 500.
That's correct. All right. All right.
Bobby 3 Sticks for 500.
So, here are the top 8.
Okay.
You guys want to know? Joe Theismann at number 1.
Yep.
Sonny Jurgensen at number 2. Sammy Baugh at number 3. Kirk Cousins, number 4.
Yeah.
Mark Rippon, number 5.
Yep.
Billy Kilmer, number 6.
Yeah.
Jason Campbell, number 7. Gus Farad, number 8.
Oh, slipped in.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Very good.
All right. The next category is receiving yards.
Okay.
Washington receiving yard leaders.
All right.
In history, career.
Number 1 is Art Monk.
All right. So here's my list. You ready?
2 is Gary Clark.
Art Monk.
Okay.
Chris Cooley.
All right, Chris.
Charlie Taylor.
Oh.
Charlie.
Pierre Garçon. Terry McLaurin. Hugh Taylor. Bobby Mitchell. Jerry Smith.
No Santana Moss? All right, Jerry Smith is out of there. His name is Jerry and last name Smith. He is one of these dudes. All right. Pierre played here long enough, but do he have the stats to be with
I'm gonna say no. Who's below Pierre?
Charlie?
Oh, Charlie Taylor. Yeah.
But were they throwing the ball like that at that time?
I'm gonna say he's up there. Well, let's see. Art, yes.
Yes. Chris,
yes.
Yes.
Charlie, Bobby,
Mitchell.
Do you guys want me to read through them again?
Now I think the guys we're looking for, the culprit is. All right, let's play elimination. Let's eliminate Art. Let's eliminate Cooley.
All right, so we know Art Monk's there.
Yeah.
We know Chris Cooley's there.
Yeah. Bobby Mitchell, I'm gonna say there.
Yes.
I'm gonna say there.
I'm gonna say Charlie Taylor too.
Charlie Taylor there. So our corporates is Pierre. And who else? And the regular name.
And then who else is not there? Oh, you mentioned Terry, right?
Terry
did mention
McLaurin.
He hasn't
Terry.
been playing long enough, right?
He ain't been playing
Yeah.
long enough. So let's go Terry, Pierre, and what was the last name?
Who was this? Jerry Smith.
Jerry Smith.
Jerry
The
Smith.
dude I met at the cleaners the other day.
All right, Anna, how we do?
All right. So,
Uh-oh.
remind me the names you said. I'm sorry. Okay, here. They were not correct. You weren't correct. I think you got one of them right.
Okay.
So, you said, what were the three you named?
Pierre Garçon.
Pierre Garçon, that was correct. He was not in the top 8.
Yeah.
Who was this? Jerry Smith, is that right?
Yeah, Smith.
Jerry Smith was in the top 8.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
All right.
Agent Smith.
And we left out Terry. Scary Terry.
Yeah.
Oh, Scary Terry is in the top 8.
Already? Ooh.
In 5 years?
Damn, he's been a baller.
All right. So I guess we should have said
Do you want the answer?
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Chris Cooley is not in the top 8. And neither is Hugh Taylor.
That's who we didn't write down
Oh.
on the list.
Oh.
we didn't
You guys
write
forgot,
down
I'm
Hugh.
sorry.
Yeah, we didn't write down Hugh on the list. So
Okay.
all right.
All right. So, who was in the top 8? Art Monk, Charlie Taylor's number 2, Gary Clark's number 3,
I see it.
Santana Moss number 4,
There we go, Tana.
Bobby Mitchell number 5, Ricky Sanders number 6, Jerry Smith number 7, Terry McLaurin number 8.
Ooh.
Then number 9 is Hugh Taylor. He played from 47 to 57, so I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm finna say like
At some point.
we didn't
And
even have
Chris
electricity
Cooley.
at that time. You know.
Chris Cooley was 10. Pierre Garçon was 11.
All right, that's a good group.
Yeah.
Ah,
All right. Now this last one is it's a fun one.
this is for fun skis.
And it is to list 5 out of 8 characters who are Marvel. And they're
this is all you.
obscure.
I'm gonna say this.
No,
That's
here's
me.
the twist. They're obscure Marvel characters.
I know them all.
You think you can do it?
Yeah.
Okay. And listen, if there's something wrong with these characters, I'm going to have to go back and do my research, okay?
Who you gonna pull up, the Rubber Band Man? Or
I'm just
somebody?
afraid. I'm afraid something. Okay. Quasar?
Quasar.
Quasar?
0 for 1, Anna.
Quasar is Marvel. All right,
Okay.
next.
Kazar?
Quasar.
No,
Queso?
this one's Kazar. Kazar. The other one was Quasar.
Oh no, I know
That's
who you're talking about.
Kazar?
Quasar.
Okay, I'll keep going on the
Yeah,
list.
he is. He is.
3D man.
Who?
3D man.
3D Man.
Matter Eater Lad.
Matter Eater Lab is one. 3D Man is DC.
The
Keep going.
Orb.
Who?
The Orb.
The Orb. The Orb was the used to hold the Power Stone.
Man, I have no clue, bro. No clue.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not Marvel.
Okay, I'll keep going. Kite Man.
Oh, Kite Man is. Hey, Kite Man is for real. He's a DC man. He's a dude.
This had to be from like the 50s or something.
No, Kite Man is a real hero.
Dead Man and Chairman.
Dead Man, not so much. Chairman, I have heard of.
Okay, so who are we picking for not Marvel characters?
Kite Man is DC.
Okay.
All right. Quasar, that's Marvel. Chairman.
You're putting that down?
Yep. And who am I missing that you said? Give me like the third.
I'll run through them.
Yeah.
Quasar, Kazar, 3D Man, Matter Eater Lad, The Orb, Kite Man, Dead Man.
Hey, Matter Eater Lab is DC. He's a dude.
Oh my gosh. You're like an expert. I did not think you'd get this.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
All right, well.
Don't be playing with me when it comes to that.
I don't know how this game turned out. I tried to make it. It was fun.
That was good, Anna.
It was a little, like a visual.
When it comes to TV, my coach now, he gives me nothing. Like,
I got nothing.
like you bring up Game of Thrones, you bring up anything, Jinx would be like, yeah.
And it's like I'm doing a thing with Marvel. I was like, that's for a segment.